I didn't hear the joke live. I heard the silence that followed it. A strange ping woke me, 1:14 a.m., a notification from a private group I'd never joined. Someone had added me. Someone wanted me to see something. I tapped the link. The screen opened to the tail end of a live stream. Music thumped in the background, bodies swaying. My fiancée, Mira, stood in the center, drink in hand, smile too loose, too wide. Her friends encircled her, chanting, laughing, feeding her the kind of energy that strips away filters. Then her voice, bright, drunk, careless. Should I even marry him? More laughter, too much laughter. Her eyes flicked toward the camera, then away, fast, guilty, as if she'd said the truth by accident, as if she regretted letting it escape. The stream ended abruptly. The screen went black. But the feeling didn't. It hung in the room with me, thick, metallic, like the aftertaste of blood. My chest didn't clench. My hands didn't shake. I felt nothing. Just a shift, a click, like a lock turning, a door opening inside me that I hadn't used in years. I lay back down, staring into the darkness, letting her words loop, each repetition carving a little deeper. Should I even marry him? No apology, no correction, no hesitation, just truth disguised as humor. And I knew, right there, that a joke like that didn't come from nowhere. People don't mock what they value. And Mira had just exposed something she never intended me to see. Something already rotting beneath the surface. Something she thought she could bury forever. She was wrong. She always underestimated the quiet ones. Morning arrived with a clarity that felt surgical. She texted me at 9:03 a.m. "Good morning, love." Nothing else. Not a hint of last night. Not a trace of guilt acknowledged. Her silence told me everything. She had either forgotten or hoped I hadn't seen. For the first time, I looked at her words and felt the distance, an invisible trench stretching between us. I replied normally, "Morning, sleep well?" Because that's how you hunt the truth. Quietly, without alerting what you're chasing. The day unfolded slowly, painfully normal. She sent selfies, updates from the bridal studio, laughing emojis. All the while, her question played in my head like a fault line waiting to crack open. And then it did. Not through her, through the friend who added me to the stream. A simple message. You deserved to know. No context, no explanation, just a confession from someone who had watched long enough. My stomach didn't drop. It wasn't shock. It was confirmation. Something was hiding beneath Mira's joke. Something that made someone feel compelled to warn me. I began reading backwards. Texts, timestamps, old pictures, locations she said she was at, the nights she'd come home with excuses too polished, too consistent. Patterns emerged. People always leave fingerprints, even on lies, especially on lies. A contact saved under a woman's name. The same number appearing late at night. A dinner date with coworkers that ended 2 hours after the restaurant closed. A trip to Lahore that didn't match the hotel bill. Nothing obvious, everything subtle. Threads. And I pulled every one, all while speaking to her gently, affectionately, predictably. She had no idea I'd begun dissecting her entire reality. Sometimes, the most dangerous person is the one who stays calm while bleeding. The truth arrived on a Wednesday. A message from an unknown number. A screenshot. Mira. A man. Not kissing, not touching, but sitting too close, leaning in, smiling, with an intimacy that could only grow roots in secrecy. A timestamp from 3 weeks before. Same night she told me she loved me more than ever. I stared at the image that ended the illusion. Not because she'd cheated, there was no concrete evidence of that, but because she had opened the door to someone else. Emotionally, quietly, intentionally. That's all betrayal needs, a crack. And she'd lived in that crack long enough to laugh about me publicly. I didn't confront her immediately. Revenge isn't rage. Revenge is precision. I waited until the night before our families were scheduled to meet for the final wedding arrangements. She came to my apartment wearing white. Appropriate. She sat on the couch, talking about flower arrangements, honeymoon locations, seating plans, building a future on ground that was already collapsing. I listened. Every word pushed her deeper into the moment I was preparing for. When she finally asked, "Are you okay? You've been quiet lately," I nodded. "I'm fine." And then I handed her my phone. One picture. The screenshot. She froze. Her pupils shrank. Her breath hitched. Her lips parted in a gasp she tried to disguise. Then the second punch. The clip from her live stream. The joke she'd hoped vanished into drunken air. She stared at the screen, hand trembling. I didn't mean," she whispered. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't flinch. I didn't blink. "That's the problem," I said. "You did." Tears gathered in her eyes. "It was a mistake. I was drunk. I swear, I don't." I cut her off with silence, the kind that feels like a blade against the throat. "Mistakes don't have patterns," I said finally, "but yours do." She broke then. Her voice cracked, words spilling from her like a confession fighting its way out of a collapsing chest. "Nothing happened with him. I just needed attention. I felt ignored. I was stupid. I didn't think." I know. 2 words. Sharp. Surgical. She looked up, confused. "You know?" I nodded. "And I'm not angry." Her face softened, hope flickering. Until I ended it. "I'm done." The hope died instantly. "You can explain this to your family tomorrow. I won't be there." Her breath shattered. "Please, don't do this. Please." I stood. She reached for me. I stepped back. Distance. Cold. Final. "This wasn't about cheating," I said. "This was about respect. And you buried that long before last night." She collapsed into the couch, sobbing into her hands. I walked to the door. No rage, no shaking, no regret. Just clarity. The kind that comes only after betrayal strips away every illusion and leaves the truth standing naked. I paused at the exit. Not to comfort her, not to reconsider, but to remember. The moment I realized I'd stopped loving the version of her she pretended to be. People think closure comes from forgiveness. They're wrong. Closure comes from truth, and the truth was simple. She had already left me long before I walked away. I just refused to pretend anymore.